Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the English news from Djibouti channels. Here are the headlines of our edition tonight. The main titles are: the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, arrived in Conakry for official visit. On national events, the head of state presided before left the country over the World Food Ceremony. On continental news, Brexit still blocks before the European summit. Welcome if you join us. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, arrived in the Republic of Guinea, where at the invitation of his counterpart, Mr. Alpha Condé, he will pay an official visit for 48 hours under the banner of strengthening friendly and cooperative relations between the two countries and people. The Djibouti President's official visit to the Republic of Guinea will include several aspects, the most essential of which will be a summit talk with his counterpart Alpha Condé. This hearing between the two heads of state, which will lead to extended working meeting with the staff from both sides, will mainly lead to the adoptions of a series of bilateral agreements, including a framework agreement for economic, commercial, scientific, and technological cooperation, an agreement paving the way for regular diplomatic consultations between the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the two countries, an agreement on reciprocal visa exemptions for holders of service and diplomatic passport. The Republic of Djibouti and the Republic of Guinea share many similarities, including cultural and linguistic ones. Under the aegis of its first magistrate, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, the Republic of Djibouti celebrated World Food Day today, Wednesday, in early this morning. For more detail, let's follow the report of Tariq. This event was attended by the First Lady and the President of the National Union of Women of Djibouti, Mrs. Khadra Mahmoud Haid. In addition to the President of the Republic of Djibouti, celebrations of World Food Day brought together a large number of officials, including the Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, organized in the locality of Loyada. The national ceremony dedicated to this event, including several components, including the launch of tree planting process throughout the national territory. It was the head of state, Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, who planting a tree launched this process, which will eventually provide our country with 100,000 trees around the country.
la 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 afrikadan isdiiday wuxuu ka maray dulaha bulshada damiduu ka dhigay dhaqaalaha durduri warshadu ku daray la 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 nabad waa dugsiga dabkuu u xidhay la 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 afrikadan isdiiday wuxuu ka maray dulaha bulshada damiduu ka dhigay da'yartii kacdayna shaquu u diray da'yartii kacdayna shaquu u diray waxay dibadaha u doonanayeen dalku u dhigay awow daraje awow daraje da'yartii kacdayna shaquu u diray da'yartii kacdayna shaquu u diray waxay dibadaha u doonanayeen dalku u dhigay awow daraje awow daraje
The Djibouti celebration of World Food Day provide the framework of the inauguration of a factory for the productions of fishery products. This plant, which is named Jibah Food Processing Company, will operate, process, package, and market Djibouti's fisheries product locally and internationally. The inauguration's plans owned by private American operators. This factory does not only intend to make fishery products available for greater consumptions in Djibouti. It also plans to contribute to our country in the extremely important issues of job creations.
Public Djibouti celebration of World Food Day brought together a large number of officials, including Prime Minister Abdulkader Kamil Mohammed, organized in the locality of Loyada. The national ceremony dedicated to this event include several components. In addition to the first component of activities, Djibouti celebration of World Food Day provide framework for the inauguration of factory for production of fishery products. This plant, which is named Jeddah Food Processing Company, will operate, process, baggage and market Djibouti fishery product locality internationally. The inaugurated plant is owned by private American operator. This factory does not only intend to make fishery product available for creator and consumption in Djibouti, it also plans to contribute to our country in the extremely important issue for job creation.
Hoyama hoyame hoyama hoyame hoyame yo hidi hidi.
In his speech, the representative of Jibah Food expressed his satisfactions about the factory make fishery products available for greater consumptions in Djibouti.
And represent myself and my partners as the first private U.S. investment in the country of Djibouti. We understand that that is a privilege, and we are guests in your country. For that, we can't express our thanks enough. You have entrusted us with some of your most valuable and precious resources. But more importantly, the hardworking citizens of Djibouti. We promise to hold them dear to our heart and keep their interest foremost in this whole venture. Behind me stands the first and only facility of its kind in all of East Africa. That is not made possible without the help of numerous people and organizations here in Djibouti. Today, I want to expressly thank a few.
The Minister of Agriculture, Mohammed Ahmed Awali, expressed also on this day reflects the deliberate political will of our country to fight together against food insecurity and to the immigrate the consequences of global warming for the climate change. The Prime Minister stressed the importance of the event to initiate the importance to implement three for more details. Let's follow Tariq report.
Mesdames et messieurs, à l'occasion de la célébration de la Journée mondiale de l'alimentation,
Ladies and gentlemen, on the occasion of the celebration of World Food Day, praise to God for peace and blessing be upon the Prophet, his family and companions. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to be here with you today for this day. World Food Summit this day, which while commemorating FAO's anniversary, also draws the international community's attention to the world food situation. First of all, I would like to thank the FAO for all its effort throughout the world and more particularly in our country to ensure that the objective set by the United Nations of zero hunger is achieved as soon as possible. This day of commemoration, ladies and gentlemen, it is also a day of awareness, action, and reflection. For the international community, first of all, but also for all the actors mobilized directly or indirectly to achieve the objectives of sustainable development in the eradication of hunger. As you know, the current situation of the food situation in the world reveals a great disparity. While some parts of the world experience waste and abundance, others less fortunate are in food scarcity and insecurity. The international community must address this situation of global imbalance. It must remedy this by spreading the spirit of solidarity and fraternity among peoples and nations. Not only are we at risk of not reaching the goal of zero hunger, but we also risk increasing food security around the world. It was precisely to avert the optimistic scenario that our country ratified the Paris Climate Agreement.
The Prime Minister stressed the importance to face the current challenges and the consequences of climate change.
Mesdames et messieurs, l'accès des populations à une alimentation saine
Ladies and gentlemen, people's access to healthy food must be considered everywhere as an inalienable right. Governments around the world must encourage the emergence of ambitious policies to achieve this. Our country has been on the move for a long time on this path despite the vagaries of the weather, particularly rough, despite the absence of an agricultural tradition. Vivace in our rural areas, we have succeeded in filling several programs and approaches that have significantly improved the living condition of our fellow citizens. Thanks to these efforts, we have moved the specter of thirst away from our country. In particular, thanks to the mobilization of surface water tanks to the hydraulic interconnection with Ethiopian, but also and soon thanks to the large dams of the friendship between Turkey and Djibouti. Thanks to this effort, we have also encouraged and fostered the emergence of food agriculture. But despite these efforts, we are aware that we still have a long way to go on the road to food security in the global of zero hunger. Is why we still have to multiply initiatives that converge toward these objectives. Among these initiatives, the government is committed to launching a national campaign to plant 100,000 trees throughout the country. By launching this initiative, the government is taking its responsibility and taking responsibility first of all to counter desertification, the consequences of which impact on the resilience of population. That's why this planting campaign is currently directly in line with the objective of sustainable development. Thank you very much.
The Minister of the Interior, Mr. Mumin Ahmed Sheikh, accompanied by the head of mission, Mrs. Lalini, and the Executive Secretary of ONARS, Mr. Hussein Hassan Darar, visit the new ONARS site located in PK 13. The project to build ONARS new premises in PK 13 is a project executed by the International Organization for Migrations and funded by the European Union. The total area of this project is 12 square meters This building block will plan an official office building, a warehouse, an equipment garage, a sorting room, as well as many others. The project will be carried out in phases. The first phase will include the constructions of two-story office building with a total area of 820 meters square, the sorting lounge and others, and the constructions of surrounding fence. The Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamil, received in his office the Minister, the Rowing and Conic Federation, namely the President of the Federations, Mr. Ahmed Mohammed Abdul Qadir, and its first Vice President. This meeting followed the recent appointment of President Ahmed Mohamed as Secretary General of the African Canoe Kayak Confederations following the election held in Flab. It was therefore an opportunity for the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, Mr. Hassan Mohammed Kamil, to congratulate the lucky elected officials, and he said that we are very honored and proud of this news, which will certainly develop this practice in our country, but also export our values to the rest of the world. The prefect of Ali Sabih region, Mr. Musa Aden Migane, visit Daspio, accompanied by a large delegation of his contact visit. The inhabitants of the locality warmly welcomed the prefect of the region and his delegation, composed by elected regional representative, the Director General of the Regional Hospital of Ali Sabih, Mr. Mohammed Suge, as well as the head of the Corps of BS Army, Colonel Abdul Wa'is bin Muhammad, the commander of the regional company of the Gendarmerie, Lieutenant Abdullahi Ali Riyale, the regional inspector of national education, Mr. Ahmed Hamad, as well as the various decentralization services and the ADD branch of Ali Sabih. On continental news, last-minute talks between Britain and the European Union to reach an agreement on Brexit continued throughout the night with no news of a breakthrough. According to Michael Barnier, the union's chief negotiator, it's now too late for the possibility of an agreement to be endorsed at Thursday's Brussels summit. Ongoing discussions focus on two areas of disagreement: how to avoid the return of a border between the Republic of Ireland, a member of the Union, and Northern Ireland, a part of the United Kingdom, and the right of access granted to the North Irish Authority to the divorce agreement. Catalonia is not taking off after the sentencing of the independent politician to heavy prison sentence. Thousands of separatist activity have once again taken to the streets, blocking one of the Barcelona's main arteries, Gran Via, where clashes broke out at the end of the day when police tried to disperse the demonstrators. Here we arrive at the end of this news edition. Thank you for watching us. Goodbye.
Rafraîchissez-vous, vérifiez sous la capsule et gagnez! Coca-Cola fête ses 55 ans à Djibouti. Achetez une bouteille de 30 centilitres de Coca-Cola Sprite ou Fanta pour seulement 60 francs djiboutiens. Rassemblez les 12 capsules du mois anniversaire. Gagnez des bons d'achat de 20 000 francs djiboutiens, un téléphone Samsung Galaxy et plein d'autres prix incroyables. Récupérez votre prix dans le magasin le plus proche ou contactez le groupe Koubèche. Offre valable jusqu'au 31 décembre 2019. Termes et conditions s'appliquent.